It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160. Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people, bringing us our conversation this morning with Jody Rainey, who wears a lot of hats. At any given time, he's wearing a high school principal's hat, a dad hat, a fireman's helmet. Today, he's wearing a Heritage Conference / District 6 hat. Good morning. How are you?
I got too many hats, Todd.
or a really big head, and I don't want to accuse you of that. You've got a lot on your plate, I guess, is what I'm trying to say here this morning, and I wanted to sort of narrow it down a little bit. We've been talking with you a lot lately about school issues, and this is a school issue too, but we're really focused on athletics for our segment this morning. All right, Heritage Conference President, Homer Center School Principal. We're talking about athletics in high school and getting them started up again and where we stand right now. July 1st is technically when athletes can come back and begin practicing in workouts, correct?
Well, actually, Todd, what PIAA has released with consent of PD and the governor has been that once you create a school, an athletic resocialization safety plan, and the board approves it, and your coaches and players receive training on that plan, you can start as soon as all those things are in place.
Oh, so you could technically be doing it now.
That's correct. You could be.
Okay. So from a practical standpoint, is that happening across Indiana County? Do you know of?
I think a few schools have. I know at the Homer Center we had our plan approved last Thursday, and our football coaches were trained and provided that training to our summer participants Monday. And so I know they have a couple workouts scheduled coming up here this week.
Has to feel good, though, for these kids to be able to get back and be able to do whatever the limitations might be, to do something physical related to their sport.
Yeah, I think so. I think the big thing is there's really two phases to the plan for the athletics. One is kind of the summer workouts, which in my mind kind of encompasses all the sports. And in the guidance that we received, it's been very clear on a couple of things. One of them is we put a lot of focus on, well, first off, the one big point is that it's preliminary. They keep using the word preliminary. In other words, we certainly think that, today we said it June 24th, that on July 30th or, July 24th, we'll know a lot more than we know today. Mm-hmm. That's just the nature of COVID-19 for any organization, regardless of its education or otherwise. So we put a lot of focus and effort on looking at our summer workout programs. We did include some things anticipating what it might look like come the start of the actual official season, the first practice dates and competitions. But we did place a lot of our emphasis on just kind of getting through the summer and then revisiting in the end of July and putting together a more comprehensive plan for the opening of the official seasons. As we wanted to have that most up-to-date information and the most up-to-date guidance. And so we invested our time in our summer, looking at the summer, mm-hmm. and with the full attention on coming back and looking at it at the end of July.
I'm sure as you develop plans, you get a lot of input from the coaches who are involved, and maybe even from the players and their parents as well, as to what works or could potentially work and where some problem areas might exist.
Yeah, I think the first thing is making sure, like, we put our plan together, then we shared it with all of, like, myself, Matt Rocky, our assistant principal and pandemic coordinator for the district, Rob Stoss, our athletic director, Mr. Weitzel, Kurt Weitzel, as our superintendent, is also a member of District 6 committee as well. So we had a lot of input from, our maintenance supervisor, Ed Sutter, and everybody in between. And so basically, long story short, is that we put that together, sent it out to our coaches, sought feedback, and also sought input on things that were specific to their sport. And then we got that input and then gave it to them. And I think that just going through and making sure, like, some of the things that the guidance centered on was the focus in the summer should be on individual skill development. So a lot of times, you try to get together and you want to do 7-on-7s and you want to do, 5-on-5 summer league basketball and things of that nature. But they really put a lot of emphasis on the summer programs for this year, especially need to focus on individual skill development so we can limit potential, maintain social distancing to the best that we can. And also, that no contact in the summer, that we're trying to maintain that as well.
Yeah, I'm sure the cross-country athletes would as soon maintain physical distancing as well because it means they're winning.
For me, that means you're losing severely.
Yeah, you're either losing severely or you're winning. Band as well, correct? This is all included as part of this plan?
Yeah, I got to have a more detailed conversation with Mr. Stolars, but this would include our band. One of the issues that we need to come up with band is there are, especially with the wind instruments, making sure that the spit guards and how we're going to control that and also distance the band. Those are things that I've got to sit down with John and at Homer Center and other districts would have to with their directors and just look at how we can do that and maintaining the basic premise or the spirit of what they're asking us to do with the social distancing and individual skill development.
All right, so those are some real considerations that have to be a part of this whole conversation. Let's talk about it from the president of the Heritage Conference standpoint and what some of those conversations have been with other schools.
I think we've tried, did a lot of sharing, either through email. We've had 1 or 2 meetings occur here or with the Heritage, but we really tried to do a lot of sharing. Like when we got templates, Unionville Chad's Ford out east, we at Homer Center, their template was very similar to at least the concepts we were looking at. So we relied on their template quite a bit. Hollidaysburg and Penn Cambria both had excellent templates. So we kind of shared those out with each other. And then we just had a lot of conversations. I've had a couple different athletic directors contact me. I know Mr. Stokes, Colin, has gotten calls, I'm sure, and just kind of work together through, how are you handling this and handling that? Because we want to try to do it as consistently as possible. Every school has unique differences and unique needs, but the more consistent we can be, then I think that it will flow easier into the seasons because we'll all be kind of following similar protocols.
All right, so Heritage Conference is one thing. District 6 is an overall issue as well. And, of course, we think about the season that was lost and the seasons that were not able to be played this year, and we feel bad about it the whole way around. There are some great things at stake, but we also think about student athletes who are really looking to make a mark in their field of play in order to impress colleges and maybe get some scholarship money out of it. I'm sure from a district standpoint, district-wide, you look at things like that and realize that there's a lot at stake with high school sports.
There are. There's a lot of, and you're right. A lot of people, football is huge in our area, in Western Pennsylvania, always has been, most likely always will be. But you have a lot of talented kids in a lot of different fields, athletically. And so, I think that you're right. I think that, trying to balance safety and the spirit of the guidance that we're getting, because as educators, regardless of our views on many things that go on, I think that we have an obligation to lead, students, to lead our communities, and try to do it in a respectful way. And I think that, balancing the safety, balancing the opportunities that may be lost because kids don't have the chance to play or compete, there has to be a fine balance. You always need to err on the side of safety first, but it has to be within reason and something that can actually be implemented and something that can be maintained. So across the district, we've had a lot of conversations. I know PIAA continues to discuss, what if we have, schools or areas in our state that fall back into yellow or red, Red is the big color no matter what you're doing. If we're in red, there are no sports. Sports will be canceled if we're in red, temporarily or for the long haul. And if we're in yellow, there's going to be a lot more restrictions than there would be if we're in green. So we have to have plans in our summer plans, and even going forward, we all have to have plans for red phase, yellow phase, and green phase. And the PIAA and District 6, PIAA obviously encompasses the whole state, and District 6 encompasses at least 7 to 8 counties. If any of those counties are in different phases, green, yellow, or red, that creates a lot of moving parts, and we have to be prepared on how we're going to handle those.
Talking with Jody Rainey, principal at Homer Center High School, but also a member of the committee for District 6, Heritage Conference president. Only a minute left, Jody, but it occurred to me as we were talking about setting up the safety protocols that we probably take for granted a lot of the minutia. Things like you're at a practice, you use the water fountain, you use that water cart with the hose and common spray. All of those sorts of things, showers, meals, the contact that you have with others, those all have to be taken into consideration. There's an awful lot of small little things that could become really big.
They do. You're absolutely right. Like right now in the summer, like we've been directed, we make sure that everyone brings their own hydration, like a water bottle, individual water bottles. Don't share a towel if you're wiping off your face or something at a practice. Take your practice clothes home every day and have to be laundered. You can't use the same workout clothes 2 days in a row. There's a lot of things. But I would ask people to do, and I know we're running out of time, is, as we move into July and get closer to the official start of the seasons, there's a lot of questions about, are we going to be able to have fans at the games? Are we not? Right now, I can't answer that. I'm just going to say, please be patient, because as I said at the beginning, what's today, June 24th, might not be what it is July 30th. And so whatever your local school district does put into place to comply with the guidance that we've received, and, to make sure that we're promoting safety not only of our students, but also our spectators, our fans, our communities at large. I just would ask people to be patient, please comply to the best of their ability, because the alternative is that we would end up limiting and not be able to have fans, and worse yet, we won't be able to play games, and kids will lose opportunity to play sports.
Strange year.
This is nothing that any of us want, but we have to own it and accept it, and we've got to do the best we can to make sure we provide these opportunities to kids. So I just would ask people to understand that and respect that, and to do the best they can to make sure that, they can watch their children play, their sport, and also that our kids continue to have that opportunity to play the sport.
Yeah, you can't let up. Jody, I want to thank you so much for spending some time with us. I'm sure we'll talk again about athletics along with other issues through the course of the summer.
Hey, Todd, thanks so much for getting the word out for us, and you keep safe. I can't wait till I get to actually come and see you in person.
You're one of the weird people in the world who says that. Thanks, Jody. Have a great day.
All right. Thanks, Todd. Take care.
It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160, 1 FM and AM 1160, 1 FM.